Hi, I'm Kara of Inner Alchemy. Today I'd like to talk to you about how to contact a spirit guide or your ancestor. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to stick to contacting a recently departed ancestor, someone you knew and maybe you miss, or it's anyone you love, a friend, partner, and so on. So the process is similar and with a couple of differences. Now, why would you want to contact a spirit guide or an ancestor or loved one who then they've passed? For many of us, when we struggle with death, we're human, we believe in our separateness from the divine, from our loved ones. It's an illusion that we embody in the human body. So we can often miss our loved ones, and contacting them in the next realm can often offer us great comfort and solace, and also they can offer us their wisdom and perspective from the divine realm. A word of advice: if your departed one or ancestor or loved one was troubled in life, if they were unhappy, extremely unhappy, mentally unwell, or they had large life troubles that didn't get resolved when they died, you might not want to contact them as an amateur. They might be unrestful, not to make you feel scared or down, but it might be more complicated. You might want to talk to a psychic or spiritual medium for some help with that. And if you would like to contact the dead who you had a good relationship with, that you love them, you long for them, and you just want to communicate with them much as you would have if they were alive, or maybe to gain a little bit of insight about your relationship with them. Now, why would you wish to speak with your spirit guides? Your spirit guides are your invisible team. They are your guardian angels, your the deities and entities who look out for you, who are watching, helping, and assisting from the divine realms with your life purpose, your path, what you're doing in your life. So they're always there, whether or not you feel them or hear them or sense them. They've been with you since before birth, and they'll be with you after death. So to work with them at a conscious level can be very powerful. And it can also give you a great sense also of comfort and solace, much like working with your ancestors. Because there are times as humans we often feel lonely, we often feel confused, we wish for support and wisdom, and sometimes that's not forthcoming in those people around us. So I found personally in the pandemic, it's been really helpful for me to build a stronger relationship with my spirit guides. Here is one of my altars of one of my spirit guides that I started working with. I'm working with Lilith, and I have a candle and incense burning. Now that's a good way to set the scene. When you are working with a guide or contacting someone from the spirit realm, it's good to disconnect all technology, make sure you won't be interrupted, and have a candle, some incense, maybe some peaceful music without lyrics, something calming, nature sounds ready, and a comfortable place to sit, either a chair, a straight back chair, or you can prop yourself up in a bed if you don't think you'll fall asleep. Anywhere you think you'll be comfortable. Now, the most important thing is to clarify what you want. Do you just simply want to make connection? Do you want to validate their presence? Perhaps you don't quite believe in the spirit guide thing. Perhaps you don't quite believe that there is an afterlife. Maybe that you want to, and if that's the case, you might find that you're having a little bit of resistance within yourself. Your ego mind might not want to even believe that it's true. So have a little bit of patience that if that's something you're struggling with, even if you perceive something, you might not consider it real. So that's something you can work with, but just try taking a leap of faith and trusting your intuition, and trust that what you're doing is you're connecting to a part of yourself, perhaps. Even if it's not a spirit guide, even if it's not your ancestor, it's a part of yourself that can give you peace and comfort. Now, the way I do it is either I have a question in mind, like I want to connect to this person, I have some problem in my life, I want to see how they're doing, I want to get some advice, this sort of thing. Now you can write that down in your journal first, having a good, clear intention is helpful. And one thing to keep in mind when you're doing spiritual work, inner work, everyone perceives differently, and it's sort of like a muscle. It's sort of like drawing, music. It's something that you can get better at as you practice. Some people were born very open spiritually, and they just poof, they perceive ghosts, they perceive entities. And some of us have a lot more resistance from our culture, upbringing, our mindset, our ego mind, our logic. So there's going to be some differences, and try not to think about what's better or what's worse or who's more connected or who's less. I mean, we're all on this journey of life, and anywhere you're starting is fine. So some people, they have clairsentience, like you feel something, also known as an empath. You feel like you're with your intuition, but also with your body. You get a feeling. Some people get what's called claircognizance, where you get a knowing, clairaudience, clear hearing, clairvoyance, clear seeing. Now, you can get any mix of those. I get different ones at different times. So you might get little feelings while you're doing the meditation or trance work, or you might get something later. And that's okay too. You're opening the space. And believe me, they can hear you. Your ancestors, the divine, you're putting that out there really clearly that you want to connect from your heart, and they'll be able to hear you. And you might pick up little things later on, like you might hear a song that reminds you of them. You might ask for a symbol, like send me a white pigeon, and then the next day you see one, or you open up Facebook and there's a picture of one. That's called synchronicity. Spirit works with synchronicity and signs and symbols, so keep an eye out for repeating numbers. Just keep open, stay mindful, and think about the universe as something that is communicating with us. And try to keep your mind open that the universe does communicate with us in ways. Think of dreams, the way our dreams communicate our subconscious to us. Our everyday life does that as well. Now, what I like to do is to sit somewhere quietly, burn my incense, my candle, and just set myself breathing, meditating, clearing my mind as much as possible. If you have trouble with that, you can put a mantra on YouTube, some quiet music, some animal or nature sounds, and just listen to that and calm your mind and just follow the sounds. Now, what you'll want to do then is just be sure to close your eyes, and if you're working with an ancestor or a departed one, if you have a photo of them, if you have something that belonged to them, if you know that they liked a certain food or drink, you can put that in a little spot in your house for them, like a little ancestor altar, and you can light the candle when you're trying to connect. Or, ritually now and then, like on their birthday, holidays, or if you're grieving, every day if you want. Put some flowers, a piece of fruit. And if you have a certain spirit guide that if you have a certain spirit guide that you'd like to work with, you can do that as well. You can have a picture on your altar of them. You can set out some incense and a candle or a little sculpture, and you can light it when you want to work with them. So after creating the sacred space and setting the intention of what I want to do, I visualize, say we're working with a departed one. I visualize a happy place where I knew them. Say for me, it's my grandparents' house, and for some reason I always picture the backyard where I used to play as a child. So what I do is I imagine myself walking from down the road, and if I think it's going to be harder to access that day, I'm distracted or whatever, I start visualizing myself walking from a distance, slowly approaching. If you can, visualize like the trees, the buildings, just the feeling of it. Imagine yourself, what it's like, the feeling of getting closer to this place where you knew your loved one to be. And if, say, you didn't have a happy home, say that nothing is good about that, you can picture a beach, a forest, someplace you know they would have liked, any kind of safe space. Now, don't worry again if you can't visualize it. Just get the feeling of that peace, that ocean. You can hear the sounds, you can hear the birds, or just know that you're in a safe place, and approach it in your mind. And if you can, visualize the person that you loved when you reach that safe space. You can have it like be your home place. Sometimes I have a certain tree or a swing where I meet my guides or my grandparents, and you just can picture them being there waiting for you. And you can greet them, tell them that you're happy to see them, ask them if they would like to assist you, if they would like to be one of your guides, and listen for what they say. You might not hear it in words, you might not feel it right away, but just put out that question into the universe. And if you want to ask them anything, give them love, give them a hug, tell them something about what they meant to you, and so on. Sometimes you can exchange a psychic gift, like bring them flowers in your mind or receive a gift from them. And you can share and bond as long as you want. If you feel or sense anything negative or intruding, don't worry, it's probably just your subconscious or your ego mind, trying to intrude. You can set up a protection bubble if you want around you, like I have another video on shielding. You can set up a bubble, a protection, and then when you want to leave, just like you're leaving a beloved friend or loved one, you just greet them, you just wish them goodbye, tell them you love them, thank them for, what they've offered you, or if they don't wish to guide you, you say you can thank them for that, or ask them in what way they might be willing to show up for you. And then you can walk yourself slowly out of the trance, back from the safe space. Now, it's a little bit different if you're working with a spirit guide, but you can meet them in a similarly safe space. You can, in meditation, you can hold your safe space in your protective bubble, and you can say, I want to work on my self-esteem or something. Who can help me? Is there a spirit guide of mine who could help? Or if you just say you want to connect and just listen, don't let the judging, toxic inner critic intervene and say this isn't real, or if it does, just say, yeah, be quiet for now, and focus on your intuition, breathe, and let what comes come to you. And if nothing comes, that's okay. Just try it again later, or be patient, wait. And you're creating that space, you're creating that bubble of safety and willingness. And from that, you might find, like I said, signs later, symbols, synchronicities, the way the universe is able to communicate with you. So again, it's very similar, and asking if they would like to work with you, whatever being or entity approaches. In this state, it's important to do the shielding process to make sure that you're not allowing other entities in who might be fake, who might be posing as one of your spirit guides. So be sure to watch my video on shielding and protection work, and maybe cord cutting as well, to get clear before you do this kind of work. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you can know what other energy work and astrology videos that I'm coming out with next.